did it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, decent.
I did too.
Should
Oh
be
no,
good.
I don't know where. I can't do mine.
All right, guys in my chat, if anyone is there, do let me know if you can hear me, because I got this whole setup going, and most of the time I'm completely useless. So let me know if you can hear it.
They've already known that, though. Everyone's already known that.
All right.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
let-
the fourth or third or maybe fifth annual Money Morons podcast, where we can't set up our cameras. My mic's probably not working. We're going to talk about a bit of SafeMoon, possibly about Kim Kardashian. The market's crashing as we speak, so it's perfect timing. With all of that said, I got 3 viewers. Let's get to it.
Yeah, I don't think
That was an
I don't think
amazing intro.
I don't think my notifications went out.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
I got viewers coming on. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. All right, let's start talking about some Bitcoin price charts and what we're seeing in
I don't want
that.
to talk about Bitcoin.
It just bounced.
Did it?
Did it bounce? Are we
Like 2
bouncing?
minutes ago.
Should we all sell?
Yep.
Sell, sell.
Sell right now, so quick.
Sweet.
Yeah, so let's talk about it, because there's obviously a lot of softness over the last day or two.
Yeah.
I mean, everything fell 5 to 12%. Looks like.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
I wish I was
You know,
away.
honestly. Yeah, go on.
Is
Okay.
this because of Cuban? Is this because he's calling for more regulation and people are worried about that? Do you guys think that's the case?
I
'Cause
honestly
I don't see a lot of.
I honestly
I don't
think
see a lot of reason.
personally speaking, I think it's like natural. I think what we're seeing is needed to happen. I'm gonna pull up the chart on. They're gonna be able to see it on my stream. I wish there was a way I could pull it up on the Zoom call, but like what we're seeing right now. So over the last I would say month roughly, we were setting those highs, right? Like we would just see that big bounce. Everyone was talking about that symmetrical triangle, and then we saw a fake out to the downside, then a breakout to the upside. But the thing about it is we still had that trend line set for all of those local highs, local high, local high, local high. But when we broke out of it on June 14th, we just absolutely shot through it with no retest whatsoever. Like absolutely none. It was no support establishment. I mean, a full-blown breakout. And we know like quite often when we see that it's typically a sign like, okay, like this is good momentum now, but it's probably going to end up coming back down. And so what we're seeing right now is the retest that's needed to, establish that support in order to really be able to climb again. And so what I'm seeing right now is like, we're seeing the bounce right at that trend line, which is very important. But the thing is like, we need to maintain this level a lot. Like if we were to fall down to like 36,000, 35,900 roughly, I would start to get nervous that we could be seeing like a head and shoulders getting formed from June 8th to now, looking at a June 8th to June 13th roughly left shoulder, and then a head being formed right now. And so if we started to see maybe like a fall down to 35,000, then a push back up, like a head and shoulders formation down to about 30,000 could happen. So I think it's normal. Like I think it's natural, the fall we're seeing right now, but it's very, very crucial that we don't continue to fall like for the next like couple of days. That's what I would say, just from what I'm seeing right now. So hopefully it's nothing crazy. I don't think Mark Cuban really did it though. Maybe it was just bad timing, or maybe it's some mastermind manipulation plan. But I don't know. I don't think it played that much of a factor, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like whoever's trying to buy all these cryptos at a lower point, all the whales, are just taking advantage of every time that there's some kind of bad news.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a big over-exaggeration. Because I don't know anyone that's like, oh, shoot, I need to sell now at 38 or something because it fell from 40 to 38. I feel like everyone is just waiting to buy, or they already bought all that they could.
Yeah.
I thought today or this week's news was actually pretty good because the SEC basically came out and said specifically, we're not going to regulate this. Like this is up to Congress to do. So they kind of just threw it back on them. And I thought that's kind of like, that was the big winner right there is having that news from this week. But I think people kind of just glazed over it. I think, they just look for the quick sensational news, and then that kind of runs and makes its rounds on all the big publications and stuff like that. And I feel like that affects the market way more than some of these structural things that are actually, going to affect things in real life, as opposed just to like a tweet or two that has no necessarily correct impact on on the broad ecosystem.
Yeah. We haven't talked either since El Salvador, which is huge. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've heard about in months, if not longer. And the thing is, that's so interesting. At first, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's big. And then I looked, and then I realized that they had USD as their legal tender. Like, they're not some super inflationary currency or anything like that that has a corrupt government. I mean, I don't know about their government, but they're not, printing off billions of dollars a year or something like some of these other countries we normally think about. And they went to Bitcoin and USD, which is huge.
Yeah.
And the International Bank, or what is it? The IMF and the World Bank is basically saying they're not going to help. They're not going to help El Salvador implement that into their currency.
Of course
into their
not.
country. They're like, no, we're not going to help you do it.
Right. Of course not. I think personally speaking, go ahead, Connor.
The issue that I see with it's great in the long run, right? Countries adopting Bitcoin is awesome for the long run, but this will inevitably create FUD in the short term because they will have trouble. There's going to be trouble, something's going to happen, someone's going to call. I think it's already happening, right? Some government is already being like, no, we think this is a silly idea, whatever. But that's going to continue happening now as the smaller countries adopt Bitcoin, which is probably going to start happening now. So for the next months or years or whatever, it's going to be good at the start, and then something bad's going to come out, and it's going to continue this volatility, right? In 10 years, it's going to be awesome. But for the short term, it's just going to make more FUD. It's great, but it is going to make more FUD because there's now more news to talk about, right? There's more things to go wrong. So it's just, I think it's good for the long term, but the short term is going to create more FUD.
What I'm the most excited about, personally speaking, is something I haven't really seen that many people talk about, but it was kind of just an idea that I had, was just that, yeah, it's great. We see it being established as a legal tender. That's fantastic because it just overall increases exposure. Your regular citizens will start to somewhat understand it, those who may not have before. But the biggest thing that I'm the most excited about is something that we have to consider is the fact that this now incentivizes the government to implement it within the educational system. And that's what I'm really excited about personally, because it's going to be quite hard to say okay, it's a legal tender, but we're not going to teach anybody what it is. You know what I mean? And I think majority of us would agree within this system, or, just within this ecosystem of, crypto itself, that the biggest issue we face right now is just the general lack of understanding about what cryptocurrencies they are in general. And I would say that's what stops a lot of people from being within it. And so I think now that it is being established as legal tenders, and there's many countries looking to establish it, I think as time does go on, not within the next year, not within the next 2 years or 5 years, but within the next 10 years, 15 years, we will see that implementation, even if it's just on a surface basic level of education of what cryptocurrency is, that'll really expand its exposure as the upcoming generations really understand it growing up. That's what I'm the most excited for. And, I think that it'll be difficult because, we don't just see a lot of education in general and financial literacy within the educative system, but it's growing, and I'm excited to see the day that we do see some type of even saying, look, one legal tender in our country is Bitcoin, and that's it. That just plants the seed, for the upcoming generation. So I'm excited about that. That's one thing I'm looking forward to for sure. That's the best news from my side.
And what I keep on saying all the time in my videos, at least, is that you have to remember the market cap is just so small on Bitcoin and crypto just in general. It's really not as big as I think what people think it is, right? You can get some news about the housing market in the U.S., and it's a $45 trillion market. So one or two bad reports, one or two bad, economic studies or whatever is not going to really affect it as much as even just the smallest of tweet or news story on crypto that has the potential to kind of wreck it. And you're like, wow, it's not the mental model you used to looking at things in, but it's just such a small market cap versus equities market or anything that we were usually looking at when we're talking about investments.
Yeah. Even gold, right? Gold is still 15 times bigger than Bitcoin. So it's kind of crazy to think about the difference in manipulation. So,
sorry guys, I'm trying to fix everything here because my stream's just not working.
That's okay.
Really? My mic's I feel like I need to mute y'all. How do I mute y'all when we're not talking? Because
somehow I'm still echoing even when I had the headphones in. So I'm lost for what I could possibly do now. So I'm now the only audio that's picking up you and me is my mic, but the main audio is not coming through.
Gotcha. Well, should we talk about Kim Kardashian then, since that's in some of our titles at least? I don't think we've hit on it yet. Should we talk about maybe just influencers in general getting paid, or just talking about cryptos? Because I feel like some people, if they have a big enough audience, they treat that as a time to either sell out, or maybe like she had told people that she was going to talk about it, and then people got in and then sold it. What do you guys think?
I think it creates a sensation of buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So like what I mean by that is that, so it's like, say, I mean, we've all done sponsors before, you know what I mean? And I would say that it's different on YouTube because a lot of us, especially, like the way we go about it, none of us are really like, go buy this right now type. We're all just like, look, we'll give you my honest opinion. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Well, the issue with that is whenever you promote it to that point, it just adds to that sensation, right? We all have seen it. I don't do it. I'm not a big buy the rumor, sell the news type of guy unless it's something specific, right? Like very big that I know is going to have a drastic effect. But when you're a crypto and you're saying, oh, we're going to have this person talking about it and this person talking about it, everyone's excited because their expectation is that when that person talks about it, the price is going to shoot up. Right. And so they're like, okay, that person's going to talk about it. There's going to be an inflow of people. As volume increases, price will increase. And then as the price increases, I'm going to get out because everybody else is going to get out. But the issue with that is we know how that goes, right? Every time we think something's going to make the market go up, it doesn't. Right. And so the moment that person talks about it, it has that reverse effect and it immediately shoots it down. So what I would say is that if they are going to have influencers, if they're going to have people just talking about it in general, that the best way to do that is just to not tell anyone. Like to simply just not tell anyone. Don't create some type of big event, but overall use it for what it is. You're using it for exposure. You're using it for marketing, and simply keep it as that. Don't use it as a method in order to make everyone all excited and hyped and pump it because it'll get dumped. You know what I mean? That's not good. That's not a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, they should make them. They should not allow them to talk about it beforehand, right? So that way people can't play that by the rumor, sell the news thing. But then also, I feel like if they're gonna do that, they should try to reiterate that this is like a long-term thing. This is not like, it's gonna go up 100% or 200% in the next couple weeks, because then everyone will buy it and sell it right away. Like if I don't know what Kim Kardashian exactly said. I haven't seen that. But if she said, hey, I'm buying this for the long term because I think it's a great project and I'm not going to sell it for 10 years or something, then I'm guessing you wouldn't get the same dump.
Right.
Especially if she talked about the fundamentals a little bit more, why she liked it long term and how it would be like a good wealth generator long term. But
it literally was just, hey guys, check this out, and then posting the screenshot of what it is, and don't know like, hey, this is risky, no, like this, hey, I'm a financial advisor, no, like, hey, this is a paid promotion. Literally there was a hashtag ad that said that in the screenshot that you saw, but like that went, I did more research kind of like on the reach and on her reach and everything else like that. I mean, it's 228 million people just on Instagram alone, which is insane. I mean, Elon Musk only has 57 million on Twitter, so like she has more of a reach than him on Twitter as well, of course. And so it was just, it's so weird. And like, I feel like that's going to be so much more popular now, is just like buying a big influencer, celebrity or whatever, and then just exiting. All the whales get together, they put 100 grand, 200 grand into something, as far as like paid promotion, then they just like exit and they just cash out. They're like, okay, it's going to come out at 3. So at 3:05, we selling this bad boy, and we're out of here. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. I feel like that's something that like everyone really needs to realize and know that that is such a high potential of able to do that. Like there's nothing against that necessarily.
Right.
Can I just check if people can let me know if they can hear me now? Maybe I've sorted it out, maybe not.
Let's see. So chat,
just let me know.
Chat, one funny thing about today is I put in the message right before we started stream, like an hour before, I said we should probably start it early, or we should jump on the call early. And Conor's like, yeah, I got a new setup, so it's destined to go wrong. And then literally the moment we start, like he has a whole bunch of technical difficulties.
An hour later, here we are still with Conor's broken, busted system. We should
We can hear you in our chat, Connor. That's what people are telling me.
I just don't know how. I don't know how it's possible. Like I have just my desktop audio and just my mic, and somehow it's still echoing. It doesn't even make it. I can't comprehend how this is happening.
I'm gonna check your stream.
My people can hear you.
Yeah, we can all hear you good. I think they're just worried about his.
Like I'm gonna have to stop because.
Let's see. I'm gonna check your stream.
I can't do it.
Let me see.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, it's just kind of low. I mean, you can hear it on your stream, but it's just a little low. Oh, you're echoing. Okay.
Just turn off one of those mic inputs.
I literally have no other sources other than one desktop and one mic. That's it. Everything else is off.
You should just try to turn off the desktop.
All right. Well,
brief break in the action, everyone.
Does that work? Say something, Connor. Connor, speak to us.
Test. I'm testing.
Give us a little rap.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised in the playground where I spent most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and I was shooting some people outside school when a couple of guys said I'm up to no good. Started whinging about my echo in the neighborhood.
My viewership is just plummeting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually at negative viewers now. It's weird. I've never seen that happen.
Everyone's left. All right, I've got no sources. I got two.
Everyone says loud and clear.
My mic is now only like I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so we're good.
I don't know.
All right.
Might just
yeah. You just continue. I'll just leave if it doesn't work.
I mean, even
my
if
people can hear you, just perform for my people. That's good.
Yeah, worst comes to worst.
About a hundy on here.
Worst comes to worst, if we have to shut it down, we can just if we have to shut it down on your side, I can just send you this file after it ends, and you can just upload it as a normal one, like as a video or something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave.
Okay. But all right, let's see.
Wait to see you go.
All right, should be good.
So
let's go ahead. Yep.
Speaking of the celebrity endorsements, we have Mark. Did you talk about the same already? Sorry, I've been like, I don't know where I was in my head for the last 30 seconds. But what is the Iron Token that was done with Mark Cuban? And he said that he had basically too. He's like, well, it went down on me too, and it went from like $60 or something like that to zero in 12 hours. I mean, almost immediately. It was actually one of the most trending on CoinMarketCap. Trending, if you looked at it on Sunday or on Thursday or something like that, I think it was like the top three.
So
Yeah.
what happened?
Basically, what was it called? A bank, a run on the crypto, essentially, right? Everyone tried to sell it at one time. At least that's what I heard. I haven't dove deep into it. I was watching someone else talk about it, but it sounded like everyone tried to come out at the same time, and it went down to zero.
Okay. What do y'all think about? So, like, one thing that I honestly, so this is a discussion that we had in my Discord. Actually, it had to be like today or it was yesterday, I think. So, what do y'all think in terms of, getting these people who are promoting it? Let's talk about like Kim Kardashian, for example, because that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, do we think that is a worth it investment for a crypto project? Like, I'll give my opinion last, because like I know some projects who have like, I know one of them had like they'll have like these random people who have nothing to do with crypto whatsoever, have them shout it out. And so I guess one argument is that, well, it brings exposure to crowds that wouldn't usually have seen the crypto before, so maybe that can bring in new people to the crypto world. But from my opinion, I'm like, I feel like the people who just follow Kim Kardashian on a daily basis, like, they're gonna see that and just not care. You know what I mean? So like, do y'all think it's worth it spending a whole bunch of money like out of a marketing wallet or something to pay like Kim Kardashian $30,000 to shout you out on Twitter? Like, do y'all think that's actually worth it or no? Because I don't know. I don't know personally.
30 hell, she's easily got 100,000 to 500,000 for that post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was 500,000.
Oh,
I thought that's what I heard.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've thought about this a lot in our downtime there for a second. But for the team, right? Unless they are some of the ones that are selling it and they're just trying to pump it and then dump it, it doesn't make sense. There's a difference, I think, between us talking about something and actually knowing what it is and talking about it to people that already are invested in crypto. But when she brings up to 200 million people, how many of those people actually have accounts where they can buy crypto already? Probably a very small percentage of them.
Yeah.
So the other people, maybe they go and try to create an account, but then they notice that it fell by 50% or whatever it was. I don't know. And then it just reaffirms, oh no, crypto's super volatile and super risky, and there's a big scam going on. And then they don't want to get into it at all because 200 million people saw that dropped, significantly right after she talked about it. Or I think it was like 15%. But I feel like it's almost worse because at least when we talk about something and we're like, hey, this has a utility, this has a use case, they're a growing project, they have, a couple billion in market cap or a couple 100 million or whatever it is, then people can do their own research and look at it. And we're not pushing it out to 200 million people at one time that have no idea what it is and are just pressing the buy button.
Yeah.
We have
a different marketing specialist or the marketing team on that coin or token or whatever, assuming that they have one, I just be like, okay, where is my audience at? I was like, my audience is not following Kim Kardashian. It really isn't. And I think that they made the mistake too. I know Floyd Mayweather wore Ethereum Max on his pants, I think, during his fight. Tyler, you probably know a little bit more about that than I do. Not that boxing is half as hardcore as MMA, but still, that they were maybe hoping that there'd be a lot more new people coming into the ecosystem. But I feel like that's the worst way to spend your marketing dollars on unconverted, untouched traffic, right? I'm not saying that's why we saw the dip. I think the dip honestly was just people that knew that they were paying that much for her and she was going to mention it, and they just took all their money back. Basically, they're like, okay, now we're up 30%, so I'm gonna take my profits and take out all my investment. But I think that's really a missed opportunity, at least for such a huge marketing budget, is to go after people that have not been touched, cold traffic. I mean, there's a million ways to target traffic that's already in the crypto space. I mean, just get one of y'all's audiences or come to one of us, there's really highly skilled and knowledgeable traffic that would maybe potentially be interested in a new opportunity, even if there was a little higher risk to reward ratio in there. But I just think that was just I just think it was a bad business move. It must be nice to have 500K just to blow and throw away, but
she probably didn't have to do the screenshot or anything. She probably just had her assistant take a screenshot and then she gets 500K.
Go ahead.
I just think about it if I was trying to advertise basketball, I wouldn't be advertising basketball out during the middle of the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? For a football game. It's just, I just don't see it. I feel like while the crypto world is just so new, that by advertising your money to a person whose followers don't more than likely have not even seen the space before, first, they're probably going to see it and not care. Or second, they're going to see it and be like, what is that? Then maybe a few percentage of them will actually take the time to go educate themselves on crypto, which is very unlikely. What's even more likely than that is that we'll see that maybe she'll have a few people who see that it's going up. They have a relative understanding of it, but they don't really know what's going on. They then have to figure out how to download all of these weird wallets and figure out what an address is and sign up for something. They have to put their social security number into something, do all of that. And then after that, then they're going to put their money into it. Most likely, they may not understand it. They're going to put their money into it. And then realistically, those are the same people who will sell out the moment it falls at all. So I feel like whenever you're introducing your money into places like that, I just simply think that right now for crypto, it kind of tells me something about the company, because I'm like, you're more in hopes that you will just see someone YOLO money into it and hope for the best, which is not good for a crypto in the long term, ever. It never is good for it, right? So you're more okay within the short term seeing a big rise that you can maybe capitalize off of, maybe a rug pull, I don't know. But you're not targeting those people who, I'm not calling her followers unintelligent, but people who are educated on this space, and those more intelligent investors, in a sense that you're targeting a very weird crowd, and I feel like if you spent your money, realistically, if you truly have faith in your project, whatever. You took that 500,000 and paid a whole bunch of crypto analysis on Twitter, on YouTube. I know there's a few TikTokers who do it, and people who truly educate the public and tell them what's actually good about it. There's no doubt in my mind that it would be so much more beneficial to your project long term, because you'd be attracting true investors. Whereas when you're going for like Kim Kardashian, you're targeting people who really don't really know what this space is even about. Like, that's just my opinion, but I think it's just a waste of money, personally speaking. That's just me, I guess.
If it was an exchange, it would make so much sense to me. Like, if it was Coinbase that said, hey, we're going to throw $500,000 at Kim Kardashian, we have billions sitting around, and then we get, 10 million new users, or, a million or whatever it is. And they already have like that educational side on Coinbase. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can get free crypto for watching videos and taking like a 1-question quiz. That's the first time that I got crypto, was because I was doing that like 2 years ago. And I didn't learn anything from those videos because they're like 30 seconds or whatever. But like, if you brought them into that and you said, hey, you can invest and then you can also get free crypto on our platform, I feel like that would be way more useful. And then you're not pumping anything up specifically. You're just gaining more users. And those are the people that will buy probably altcoins. They're probably not just buying Bitcoin. I would assume they would buy like a couple different things. And they usually make more money, right, off the spread of altcoins than they do off Bitcoin or stablecoin or something like that. So I feel like that'd be way better. They could get a lot of new users that would probably just leave money on there for a while.
Yeah.
Such good points that both y'all bring up. Yeah, like the process to go buy Ethereum Max or whatever is just so foreign to people that are not in this ecosystem. Hell, it's foreign to people that are even in this ecosystem sometimes, like, it's just insane. Just what a weird, I almost don't trust the token just because of that, just because that they like, okay, if you're going to make such a bad decision, why would I put my money in with you? When I do paid promotions or whatever, I always say, like, I actually like that people do paid promotions. It means that they have an advertising and marketing budget. And if I'm investing in like a business, if you look at these like businesses, if I'm investing in like a business, a coin or token or whatever it is, I want to know that they have a marketing and advertising budget to get it out there, because I want my money and whatever I buy, my asset, to be worth more tomorrow due to advertising and marketing than it was, the day I bought it. So I was like, I want that. I want them spending money. But you also want them spending money in a way that's actually going to have some ROI and not just going below their load all over Kim Kardashian, if you will.
Yeah. No, I don't
metaphorically, of course.
Yeah. I don't see I just don't see the value in it. I understand exposure is great, but I just, I see it in the question I have for y'all, because this is something I talked about yesterday, is, so it's curious because we do see some companies absolutely just spending massive amounts of money on marketing. I'm talking just absolutely just blowing their entire marketing budget, or like maybe 20-25% of their total token supply just on marketing. What is just in your opinions? Because I know we've all checked out new projects, and I'll answer as well. But like, what do y'all think is a rational amount of the total token supply that should be allocated towards marketing? Because it's something people need to look for. Because you may see a company come out and say, look, we're gonna allocate 45% to marketing. We're gonna get this thing all out there, Then they rug pull because they have almost 50% of the total supply, and then 30% of it was burned. So let's be realistic. If they have 45% plus 30% of it being burned, that's 75%. That means the public is only in control of 25%. You know what I mean? In comparison to 45%. So what in y'all opinion, if you're looking at a company's or project's total distribution, like, what number would you say, like, okay, that's too much being allocated towards marketing, like specifically?
It's a great question. Sam, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I haven't dug into a lot of different cryptos marketing budgets. I'd probably say though 5 to 10%. I don't think that's crazy high, but also like if they have a $1-2 million market cap, like they probably need a little bit for marketing if they actually want to get it out there. And I think what people don't understand, when like some people get really frustrated that, there's paid sponsorships, but sometimes it's really hard for these cryptos and stocks to even get the word out about them because there's so much noise in the space that like I won't go talk about what everyone wants me to talk about because there's just there's so much out there that I can't do what everyone wants. So that's where paid sponsorships come in. So, they can't come and say, hey, we'll pay you for it. And I say, okay, well, I'll take a look at it. And if I like it still, then it gives me a reason to actually talk about it. Because there's a lot of stuff that I would like. Like there's a lot of stocks, there are a lot of cryptos that make sense. So it's hard to look into every single one. So it's hard for these smaller tokens and stocks to even get the word out about them. But I'd say probably 5 or 10%. Sorry,
I agree with that.
Are you good?
I've seen a lot coming across like 4 to 6, kind of same thing, that had those kind of marketing budgets or advertising marketing. They split it up differently somehow in their white paper. But I kind of completely agree with the whole general consensus that like anything above 10% is going to be kind of a weird, atypical standard deviation away from what everything usually is. And then when something like that happens, I'm always like, well, okay, why? And if they don't kind of explain it properly or thoroughly, it always kind of gives me my little spidey senses. I'm like, wait a minute, what is this and why is this way? Because, you see 100 come across, the desk as one way, and then 1 or 2 have kind of these weird, screwy, if you will, allocations in their pools. And so that's a good point. It's something to look at. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't look at either, even when investing in new cryptos. They're not like, hey, what is this allocated, right? Like, how much do the devs have? Like, what's the tokenomics like? I don't think they dive into the structure as much as maybe they should, because you start to see patterns in it, and you start to see, all right, well, this is how lots of tokens are coming out now, and it's just something to know, because there's a lot that just are still out of left field, and like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'd never put my money there, and then of course we don't cover it, but yeah, I'm sure someone's covering it somewhere. I'm sure it's being covered somehow by somebody.
Yeah. I think so. Just personally speaking, like, and one thing I did see in the chat, in that you do have to consider as well, is that the typical business, right? We do see it all the time, and if you just look at the just typical balance sheets with businesses within maybe Fortune 500 companies, like a very significant amount of the total amount that they spend does go towards marketing. Like advertising is probably one of the most crucial and most, absolutely beneficial things that a company can do. But the issue with that is within the crypto space is that the more money you spend, the more, in my opinion, or the more money that you are able to spend, the more at risk your investors are. Because, if you need 15, 20% of your total supply in order to market this thing, well, that means if you were to just sell 20% immediately, it's gone. I mean, it's going to crash this thing all the way. And so one thing that I'll look at, personally speaking, is my absolute maximum is 15%. Like, I need to see that it's 15%. And if it's 15%, if it's between 10 to 15%, I need to know what exactly you are doing and why you're spending so much. Like, because if you have a 10 to 15% marketing allocation, but you're not marketing, I'm going to be really confused on why you need that much. You know what I mean? But another thing that I look at as well is I see this often, and it's something that I'm not sure how I feel about, is that we see cryptos also incorporate a marketing, a percentage of their transaction tax go towards marketing as well. So there was one that I saw that had a 10% transaction tax. And this is kind of weird to me. A 10% transaction tax, 5% was reflected to holders, 2% went to liquidity, 2% went to the charity that they were doing, and 1% went to marketing. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, because that just kind of means like as the token grows, as there's more, as there's more transactions, they're going to need to advertise it more. And so as that grows, they'll, the marketing wallet will grow with it. But I saw one that had 5% of the 10% transaction going straight to marketing. I'm like, like, no, like that was an immediate red flag to me, because it was 5% to marketing, 3% to holders, and 2% went to liquidity. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that one wallet is going to grow at a much quicker rate than all of the total wallets combined? I'm like, no chance. No chance am I buying that. So I don't know. It's just, I would say that the marketing wallets and the development wallets are the biggest ones that you need to pay attention to, because they're the easiest ones for payments to go in and out of without much clarification. Because they have to have a charity wallet. If you see a 10,000 payment come out the charity wallet, well, it should be going to charity, right? So what charity did it go to? Well, when it's development, when it's marketing, there's so many different things that a company could say it's going to that it's really hard to track it. You know what I mean? And so that's why I tell people, if you're going to look at anything, the marketing wallet and the development wallet, those are the ones that really matter. And if it's too high, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. So 15%, I'm good. Like, I'm good on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like, people always want to know, like people always throw out the words Ponzi scheme, right? If you have 5% of all the token or all the transactions going to marketing, like I feel like that's more of a Ponzi scheme than a lot of other things because it goes straight to the company and to propping up the price even more. I don't know. That just seems really sketchy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Tyler, what else do you look for when you're sussing out new cryptos? I haven't seen one of your live streams in a while, but take us through kind of what happens on them.
So there's a whole little process that I go through, and I actually have a researcher who works for me now who helps me find cryptos that meet certain criteria. Well, there's a few things that I'm very specific about, and I'll kind of briefly go into each one. So the first one that I look at immediately is I need to know one of two things. I either need to know that ownership is renounced, or I need to know who the team is. Right now, like it's an absolute mandatory. If ownership's not renounced and I don't know who the team is, I'm not gonna buy it. I mean, there's 0% chance I'll buy it because there is no societal consequence for them rug pulling whatsoever. That's the immediate thing that I'll look for. Now, say their ownership is not renounced, but we know who the team is. Sure, they can still rug pull. It's still very possible. But the thing about that is that if they were to rug pull, they need to get out the country. Right, especially if this is a bigger crypto, because there's gonna be we're all in this space, and we've seen how crazy people are in this space. Sometimes they're gonna have targets on their backs for the rest of their lives. So that incentive to not rug pull just because of how much harder it's gonna be to go about everyday life is what makes me say, okay, sure, keep ownership, but I need to know who's behind the team. I'll look at that, and then the second thing I'll look for is total token distribution and how much of the total supply is unlocked within their control. That's immediate. That's next, right? Because I think about it like this, and this is something that people never really consider, is that, sure, the team can say, yeah, the team only has access to 15% of the coin. And then you start to dig a little deeper, and you notice that 50% was burned immediately. That's to a debt address. So they now own 15%, okay? Well, realistically, let's kind of break this down a little bit further. Now we got liquidity being 15%. Sure. So then that's locked for 10 years. Fine. No issue there. But then we have to consider the fact, so we had burn plus liquidity, that's 65%. And then you add the 15% that they have access to, that puts us at 80%. Meaning that the total supply that all of the public has access to is only 20% in comparison to the entire team having 15%. So that's almost 50-50, and so I don't like that. It just makes me nervous because I'm like, at that point, if liquidity is locked for 10 years, if half of them are burned and the team wants to rug pull and take their whole 15% out, that only leaves 20% of the tokens left. The price is just going to get destroyed. There's only 20% of them circulating at that point, unless there's reflection. So I look at total supply, and it's like a big thing for me. Like I immediately look. And then last thing that I'll kind of look for is just overall like effort. Like that's something that I've been big into. If anyone in here watches my live streams, I absolutely bash any companies that have a whole bunch of grammatical errors or spelling errors, because I know something like, if I'm truly branding this, if I'm truly trying to grow my project, if I'm truly trying to establish myself as something, I'm going to have 10 people go read through this to make sure that it is fully presentable. If you don't, a lack of effort is the earliest and clearest sign, in my opinion, to someone being willing to rug pull it, because they don't care about it. They just want enough people to buy in that it makes sense and they get out. Right? If there's no true effort put in, I'm not putting my money into it. And so those are my top 3 recently. Like those are always like super big. And dude, I get flamed so much. I get flamed about it so much because I'll go like, if I hit 3 spelling errors, like obvious ones in a page, I start to get mad. Like I'll literally look at the camera, I'll be like, and I'll just stop right there and I don't read it. Like I get brutally honest and they hate it. But yeah, so those are my 3. I don't mean to go on a rant, but dude.
No, it's good. Those are all great points. I mean, fantastic points. I love the points about just even something as simple as a spelling error. Yeah. Like how much more can you show that you just don't care about this project from not even having, someone look over it or a translator look over it if you're from a different country or something like that,
Exactly.
Like it's a simple fix. And it just makes anyone that's trying to even if people were excited about, the project, it just makes them look kind of stupid as well, if you will, for lack of a better word, because they're promoting something that doesn't look great, on paper either. So just like you can't even like get your biggest supporters to rally behind you if you have something so dumb as like a spelling mistake or something like that. You're right. It really is unfortunate. I also look at when I'm speaking to the team, if I am speaking to the team, I kind of see how they how aggressive or not aggressive they are.
Mhm.
Basically, some people are like, all right, we cover this right now. I'm like, well, if you're truly trying to be a currency or whatever you're trying to be, this is a long-term project.
Right.
A 24-hour in the future mention shouldn't make or break you. And if you're getting so freaked out about it, I was like, that sends me red flag vibes. Now, if you're like, all right, well, I would love for you to cover it in the next, week, month or so or whatever, or maybe we have like some special event coming out next week or something like that. Like that's a little different, but some people come in real hot, and I'm just like, this we're long-term plays. Like all the money that I put into things are long-term investment. I don't want to see someone trying to, come and go flash in the pan style.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I get those emails too. They're like, can you cover this by tomorrow or something? I'm like, right off the bat, no. Like, if you're asking me, or they even say, I need this by tomorrow. And then they're like, we're looking for you to do this by tomorrow. Let us know if this is fine with you or something. I'm like, no. And I don't even respond to them because it's obviously super scammy, it seems like. But Tyler, I've got a question for you. Okay. So you, for what you do on the live streams, right? You look at it for the first time, right? Often on the live streams. Yeah. So how often do you end up, because I like that, first of all, because it goes both ways, right? You show the people the good projects and the bad projects. So you're not just showing, oh, this is a good one, this is a good one, and people think every project is good. How often are you disappointed or like bad, medium versus good? Like, how does that breakdown look like?
I find 6 to 7% of ones that I like. And it's I have only found 2 since I started it. We're on episode 15 now. I've only found 2 that I would be willing to buy. And we've probably done 3 or 4 per, so maybe we've gone to like 60, 70 so far, and I've only found 2 that I like. And one of them was a sponsor, crazily, which surprised me because I actually found the token, did a review on it, didn't like it that much. 3 weeks later, they emailed me, dude, we watched your stream, we understand your points, like, we fixed this, and this, and I was like, okay, we'll see. I'm not gonna even look at it until we get live. I go live, I look at it, and I just fell in love with it. Now I'm in talks with the team, like, I'm investing myself into it personally whenever I see some stability in the market. And so, like, it's quite often that I'm disappointed. The biggest thing that disappoints me is when I think they have a fantastic idea, when I think they have a great idea, but there are just certain things that will just simply never let it be successful. It just won't be. Like, I found one, I really liked it. I mean, it was fantastic. The idea was great. They were doing charity. They had a wallet and, implemented within the tokenomics that every transaction immediately sent some money to the charity, which is, in my opinion, a necessity for a charity. They had that. They were doing events. They were doing giveaways. They were doing donations directly to people instead of organizations. And then they were bringing some of these people on the live AMAs. Then they had a 27% transaction fee. I'm like, wow, dude,
that's insane.
And ownership was renounced, so they couldn't fix it. There's no changing it. There's nothing they could do. I'm like, that's too much. Like, that's always the disappointment. Cause I'm picky. I'm nitpicky. And there's a reason I've been in this space for years now, and I've only invested now into total stocks plus crypto combined. Right now, my portfolio is only like 10 or 11. Maybe closer to 15 now. But like, I get disappointed quite often, and it kind of makes people mad because, I get some of those shillers, and I think I get YouTube, like, I think people shill my YouTube channel sometimes, like, they'll go rate it, like, go over this token, and then I go over it, I give my honest opinion, and they get real pissed, and I'm like, yeah, you have a 27% transaction fee. Like, it won't, they can't change it. It won't work. It just won't, So it's often, man. The ones that I just really hate, not often. Because I can always find some value in them. Maybe like 1 out of every 10, I will just be like, guys, I'm not looking at this anymore. Like, I will legit just turn it off. More often than not, I'm kind of like, it's okay, but it's not for me. And then like another 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 2 out of 15, maybe something like that, are ones that I'm like, wow, this has a lot of potential. This has a lot of potential for sure. The one I was talking about earlier, people were asking me in the chat. It was Gorilla Diamond token. That was the one that I really like. Like, I really, really like that one. But
that's a fun name.
Yeah.
I get stuck so many times with stocks, especially because people usually ask me about those, where someone's like, oh, I'm so excited for it. And I just don't have that feeling, Like, I go through the financials, it's fine. Like, there's no red flags. But I'm like, it's up 30% and it looks fine. Like, I don't see where the potential is here. And so many get stuck in that middle space for me, probably like 80%. 10% good, 10% bad, but 80% right in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't have that as much with cryptos, but I have that more stocks, I feel like.
So let me ask y'all something.
How is your stock? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, you're about to ask me how's the stock portfolio doing?
Yeah, but we can get back to that.
Okay. All
It
right,
ain't
so
going nowhere.
one thing that I was curious about, because like I know that I would say I go over a lot. Like I do a lot of cryptos, but how often do you guys, because I know y'all are probably just like me, you get spammed with 10 to 30 cryptos a day. How many new cryptos are y'all looking at a day right now? Like, especially while the market's a little bit volatile, I know they're a little bit less appealing. Like, are y'all looking at them right now? And if you are, what are the top 2 things that would make you, or what's the number one thing you look at that makes you like it? And then what's the number one thing that if you see it, you will immediately not buy it? Well, just out of curiosity, because I'm curious.
Yeah, so probably, I would say probably 10 to 15 in a day. Sometimes I'll let them, back up in the email inbox, and I'll just go through and buzz through and kind of do a little cursory glance. I would say just the level of professionalism at the beginning with the beginning email is so huge, right? Like no footer, no signature, no contact information, no website or whatever. Just like almost like a text message coming through. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna throw that. Like, don't even like delete.
Yeah.
And then anyone that's then past that, because that's just kind of an initial filter. Anyone that has, like I said, that like a too much of a sense of urgency. I was like, we want this to be around for the long haul. If I'm going to even mention it to an audience, to the people that watch my channel, I want them to look at it like I'm looking at it, which is hopefully going to be around for quite some time. And if they're pushing something for like Sam said, like that day or the next day or something like that, I'm just like, this can't be good. So I'm not going to touch it with the 10-foot pole.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I rarely look at any new cryptos. Like my audience is very different from yours.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I'm looking at new stocks, but even now I've taken a step back from looking at so many new stocks, and I look at a lot less than I used to. It used to be like 5 or 10 a day. Now it's like maybe 1 or 2 a day. And a lot of the time it's less than that because because I own 40 different positions.
Wow.
I'm looking for more opportunities in the stocks I already own. So
Okay.
I'm looking for news updates. I'm looking for different developments there. I'm looking for price action because I feel like I've already picked out a lot of winners. It's just a question of buying them at the right price now, especially because there has been so much volatility recently. But I would say Steven's right on with those, right? One thing that I know we were talking about a company before that you guys were interested in because they sounded pretty good that I'm going to work with here in the future. I forgot to tell you guys, they actually had me sign like a W-9 and they're like send over an invoice. So it's not like some like, oh, they're just sending over BNB and it's done type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's so legitimate and they're so well backed and so well funded from Silicon Valley that like it just gives you that really professional feel. Like I haven't had one person ask me for a W-9 besides like really legitimate like multi-$100 million companies before probably. Like all the companies that are like different affiliate programs have that, or you go through like a different marketing website or something. So that was awesome. But yeah, I just don't have the same audience, so I don't look through cryptos as much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about you?
Dude, I go through, I by far, I mean, I would say I probably hit at least 20 a day right now still. But the good thing is I've gotten so used to it. I have like a checklist that I just like, I run through and it's all mental at this point. Like I know I had to look for this. I had the BSC scan. I go to read contract. I check a few things in the contract. I jump back over. Is the team docs? Nope. And I do a mental scoring. And then if they reach it, I may mention it, but if they don't, I just won't even say anything and then on to the next. So I'll go into 20. In terms of sponsorships, like if I'm going to bring one onto the channel as a sponsor, it's all about professionalism. Just like Steven said. I mean, it's by far the best. If you email me and say, hey yo, you trying to check out our crypto by tomorrow because we don't got much time. Hurry up. Like, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm literally just going to immediately discard it on to the next. But if it's like hey, this is our project, we definitely like you to check it out. Let me know what you think. This is our team. This is the links. Boom, 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 boom. You make my life easy. I'll check it out. But so professionalism is key. In terms of if I like a crypto, what is like an immediate like, oh, I like that, and it's immediate, I hate that. What I hate, my biggest thing, my immediate, like, I will probably never buy a crypto. Again, like I said earlier, it's my biggest pet peeve that just has a bunch of errors on the screen or is very unclear. Because all the rug pulls I've called out myself, I don't post anything about it. I don't put it in the Discord. I don't do anything, but I'll note it in my head. And I'm like, that's a scam. I promise you within the next 2 weeks that gets rug pulled. But I don't want to be that guy who's out here fudding a whole bunch of different cryptos. You know what I mean? So I don't. Everyone that I've called out perfectly.
You could probably be sued too.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Everyone I've called out perfectly has had spelling errors and very, very unclear websites. Every single one. Not a single one is missed. So that's an immediate, I won't buy it. What I will buy is if a crypto can show me something I've never seen before. That is like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. I like that idea. So if they're creative and unique, I'll buy it. But any type of spelling errors, I won't even look at your tokenomics. I don't care what your use case is, and I don't care who your team is. I will not look at it. It is that simple. So that's for me, at least.
Do you guys feel comfortable talking about what percentage of your total like investment portfolio is crypto? And I know, Steven, yours is different because you probably have a lot tied up in real estate, so that probably outweighs it. But like maybe stocks, stablecoin, cash sitting on the sidelines, and crypto, like what percentage is crypto? Because mine's pretty high right now. Mine's like 35%, something like that, which is higher than it's been in the past because it was all stocks up until like 6 months ago.
Let me get my calculator and do it real quick. I can figure it out.
Okay. Mine, for me personally, I'm big on cash right now. I'm super big on cash. My Patreon members, and I don't tell them what to do. I'm not a financial advisor or anything. But what I do, no, I'm not at all actually. But personally speaking, I've just been on the sidelines for the last month. I could very clearly see we're entering a consolidational phase. I'm not buying anything. I'm just gonna wait. I'll buy on the breakout, or I'll wait for the bottom on the drop. So in terms of that, my revenue, of course, has increased dramatically like this year as YouTube and everything has taken off. So personally speaking, I'm about stocks, cash, crypto. I would say right now I'm about 70% in cash, or no, let's say about 60% in cash, roughly 65% cash, and I'm buying a house in a few months, so I need a little bit more cash. And then I would say, so let's say 60% cash. I would say probably 25% stocks, 15% crypto. But once we get a breakout in either direction, that'll very quickly turn to probably about 30% cash, 50% crypto, 20% stocks. That's like the thing, because my belief honestly is that the crypto is going to massively outperform stocks within the next like 2-3 years, even if we enter a bear market. Like I still believe that, and so I have more faith in crypto right now than I do with stocks, just simply because of what all we're seeing, the talks of inflation and all that good stuff. But so yeah, at the moment I'm about 60 20 15 with a asterisk next to it though.
That's great. That's a very interesting allocation. I am 6% in crypto right now, and probably 10% in cash. So a little under 17% probably liquid for everything, which is where I want to be, because I do have to service. I keep a little more cash than I would normally do, just for flipping, because you got to just come out of pocket a lot, and also just for repairs and rentals, which is just such a pain, such a beast. So you got to keep a lot for that. But other than that, I don't like just the cash and checking account or something like that. Not a ton, because I like actually intentionally having not much in there, because it keeps me from spending money. Like currently I don't, and obviously working so much, and I'm sure we all are the same way. Like there's just no time to spend any money, like what am I going to do? Get on a plane and go somewhere for a week? Like, are you kidding me? The views would plummet. I would never do that. I worked too hard to do that. Like, sorry, Hawaii, you'll still be there in 20 years when I stop doing this, hopefully. But hopefully some volcano doesn't come and knock you out. It'll just probably get bigger. But so I like to keep that. And I will say that just kind of a something a little tangential is that I've seen a lot of I know this is outside of the scope of what we usually talk about, but I've seen a lot more real estate deals coming across kind of the desk too recently. So I'm trying to figure out kind of what that means. I think people might be scared that all the forbearance and eviction what is it called? Eviction moratorium is ending. So all that's coming to an end, and Congress hasn't really acted on that or anything else like that. So I always thought that there was going to be, once again, we don't spend too long on this, but I thought that since a lot of FHA loans are in forbearance right now, which is like your first time home buyer loans, that there would be some sort of loan modification coming on when we got to this point. Like the Congress would pass something that directed FHA, Fannie and Freddie Mac to be like, hey, work with these people to get them back on track. And there are some things that your individual mortgage company will do to get you back on track, but it's huge chunks. So let's just say you have a mortgage that's $1,500 a month and you put it into forbearance over the last 6 or 7 months. Actually, probably 10 months by this point, right?
Yeah.
And so whatever the math turns out to be, if you try to go and catch back up on your mortgage right now, they will work with you, but they'll charge you $5,000 to $6,000 a month for 4 months until you're all caught up. They have like a 3 to 4 month like ramp up period. Now, Congress, I would thought by this point was going to do something about that. But if not, you're going to see a ton of people coming into like foreclosure.
Yeah.
And a ton of people getting eviction notices and going through that process too. So I don't know if it's people getting kind of scared about that or apprehensive and want to make sure they have a little more powder on the sidelines. But I've seen a higher amount of deals come through than I have in the last 2 years. So I'm buying, and that also dictates a little bit more of my heavy allocation of liquidity that I have going on right now.
So now I got a question. So Steven, you specifically, if you could only invest into one aspect, okay, stocks, real estate, crypto, what would that be and why? Because you're the somewhat, I mean, like, I know Sam, like, he's bought a house and everything, but I'd say, like, with true real estate investing, flipping, everything like that, you're the only one who's really dabbled in all three. If you could pick one, why? And just why?
Okay, crypto, and I would stake it. So crypto staking, it would be 100% if I could just buy one asset class or one whatever, that's exactly what I would do. Because and of course you have to have some money to do this, but you have to have money to do any of those things, right? Like, you can leverage yourself more in real estate because you can borrow more.
Yeah.
But you still have to have $50K or whatever, as a down payment or as a hard money loan down payment or whatever it is. With crypto staking, if you just throw it all in there and the insane returns that you're getting is outperforming pretty much anything without the work. So yeah, I could probably squeeze out a little bit more margins on some short-term rentals, right? Dealing with people that come to vacation in Charleston and stuff like that. But they call a lot. You have to have a property manager. The property manager, you always have to manage them. There's literally daily something going on, a pipe broken, a roof broken, a whatever. And so the extra work that you have to do doesn't compensate for that extra 2 or 3% ROI that you're getting from this investment. So I love the crypto staking thing. It's better returns that I've been able to make in the equity markets in general. And then it's just this passive income with nothing, with no extra work on your side. It truly is something that is potentially passive income, all these other investments, at least the way I've done them, have been anything but passive. They've been very active investments.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. That's what I love about stable coins. And I'm thinking about going heavier because I was planning on going 1/3 into crypto, 1/3 into stocks, and then 1/3 into an opportunity fund, with that being split up between crypto dropping and then stocks dropping and then like real estate or something like that. But with like a 9% return on stablecoin, it makes me want to just keep more cash sitting around, right? Because I mean, that's the average return of the indexes, and just to have on the sidelines, I feel like is so powerful, especially if there are real estate deals that come up.
Yeah.
Richard Allen, by the way, I don't know if you guys know him, but he's another YouTuber on the Tip Ranks team. He said legally with FHA, you can roll the forbearance amount onto the end of your loan. So, Steven, is that something that you didn't know about, or is that something is that kind of addressing what you're talking about, right? Where some people are worried that they won't be able to roll it?
Yes, because I spoke to a mortgage company last month that says the only option that they had was ramping back up by kind of dividing out the balance and bringing it up that way.
Huh.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But there's also, but no, I mean that's a fair point too, because there's also, you know, conventional loans that you've had that aren't affected by FHA, you know, that didn't get a chance to get into forbearance. But there's also that's a good point. No, that's a fair point. I just think that there's less loan modification going on than I first anticipated, for sure.
I got you. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about none of that. I should probably start picking it up, considering buying a house relatively soon. But all right, guys. Well, we are at the hour mark, and I know usually towards the last 15 minutes, we always like to jump into the chats and maybe answer a question or two. So I can, if y'all are good with it, maybe we can get to chats to shoot us in some questions before we do go ahead and wrap this thing on up with another episode of the Money Morons. Sadly, we lost Conor Kenny, a fallen soldier in the battle of technology versus old people. But you know, so yeah, if y'all want to shoot us some questions, we'll get it going.
I'm still here.
Oh, there he is! Look at him.
I've been trying to sort it out this whole time. I've been listening to you. I think I've sorted it out, but I can't be. That was a long process of trying to listen to what you guys were saying and set everything up at the same time.
You have more of an intimidating presence when you're just a black screen, you know?
Invest in Conor coin.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was not expecting that accent to come out of Steven nor Sam. So when I heard it, I was like, whoa, which one of y'all is that?
It sounds like my
Conor's not in here. We're really good at his voice impression.
Okay, so this is something that I have not looked into at all, because I have just been kind of, you know, just handling some stuff outside of YouTube. There's been talks. I've been seeing pictures of John from SafeMoon and Jeff Bezos like in thumbnails and stuff, and I think what I read just briefly was that people are speculating that Jeff Bezos might buy SafeMoon in order to counter Elon Musk with Dogecoin. What do y'all think about that? That's a question that I see you guys that maybe like Steven, maybe you've paid closer attention to that, because I know you're a little bit more in the loop than us. Personally, I would be quite surprised if that's true. Like I'd be pretty surprised, honestly.
Yeah, I did a video on it yesterday, and there are a couple of YouTubers that are covering it, and like I don't want to ever talk bad about people, but they're just like, it's all speculation, and they're not bringing it up, because I did a video on it too, but I was talking about like, it's not like there's no reason for people to say this, it's all speculation, but the other YouTubers were like, oh man, he should do this, and the articles are the same way, like they're just saying it would make sense for him to do it because of Elon and him wanting, or he could send up the price of SafeMoon dramatically, and how even in the articles they said like SafeMoon's still super cheap, way under a penny or something like that. I'm like, you can't say that it's cheap based on the price of the token. So I don't know. I feel like it's just people trying to look for something, right? It's not there's no legitimacy to it at all.
My issue with that is something that people need to consider is, do we really, really, really want that? Like, say that was to happen, okay? Do we really want this entire thing to be under the control of one person, like we're seeing Doge with Elon? Like, I don't, personally speaking. I think if SafeMoon is going to be successful, that they are going to do the necessary things, and they are going to make it there through the implementation and the establishment of credibility, the reaching of milestones, the releasing of things, the increasing of use case, just overall pure utility itself. I think that gets it to a point of success. I personally don't want to see people who are going to have so much control over it where one day they're in a good mood and they say one good thing about it, then the next day it's something else, because that's just unhealthy, right? I look at SafeMoon as in, I don't like, yeah, sure, I want to make money off of it. Fantastic. But I look at it as like, I want to see that be successful over a long term. And seeing something like that puts unrealistic expectations on price growth and things like that. And so personally, it kind of annoys me when I just see those type of things going around, because I'm like, realistically, yeah, sure, it'll shoot the price up, but there's no justification for shooting it up like that. Like there's no increase of fundamental value, no intrinsic value addition or anything. So I'm not gonna lie, it does kind of irk my nerves a little. I'm not gonna, just a tad. Now, if it's a crypto that I'm looking,
like it does.
If I'm trying to get in and get out and make some quick money, sure, Jeff Bezos, hey, say the word, baby. We gonna get in on this thing and we're gonna make some cash and get out. But I look at SafeMoon like, nah, like let's stick to this thing. I want to see it grow naturally.
Is he like a prolific tweeter, or does he like talk a lot to media and stuff like that? Like, is that even an equivalent metaphor? Could he,
No, I feel like he isn't. I mean, I don't follow him on Twitter, but I never get anything thrown to me about it. Like, there's never any news on Bezos. Like, he's giving us signals or something that he's investing in something. I feel like that's never anything that comes up. Yeah. I've got a question too, if we're good with that. Okay. If you guys had $1,000 and you had to invest in only one crypto or stock for 12 months, I don't know if you want to look at it or not look at it. You have to keep it in there 12 months. What's your highest conviction?
ADA. With no even remote second thought there. I'm shooting for. I think ADA right now is the perfect mixture of risk versus reward. That's like, now, if I want to be safe, Bitcoin, of course. Like, if I just want to make sure my money's not going anywhere, I think Bitcoin has the most potential to never hit zero again. Like, that's my opinion. Someone said in my chat earlier that that Bitcoin's going to zero, and I chatted back to him. I said, you want to bet? But no, like, I would say ADA is that perfect mix. It could very possibly still 10x from here. Like, in my opinion, I think a $10, $15 ADA is in the future with no remote doubt in my mind whatsoever. But in the same light, I say it's going to be harder for Bitcoin to hit 500K from here to 10x or to 15x from here. Like that's going to take a lot longer than I think a $15 ADA. So that's just me. That's with me personally. Now, if it was like a 5-year span, if we really wanted to get speculative, I think SafeMoon's like it's a fair argument to be made, but I think it takes a lot longer to see SafeMoon like 10x or 15x from these levels personally. So I'm all in on ADA for sure.
Steven?
I would probably see. I'm just more of a concern. How much money did we talk about in this example?
1,000.
Oh yeah, I would just YOLO. You know what? I would probably just. And how long do you have to keep it in for? 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably just an altcoin, probably a new altcoin, and just try to see what happens. God, 12 months is a long time horizon for a new altcoin, though.
What if it's your last 1,000?
My last 1,000?
You only got 1,000 left, and you that's all you got.
And I got to put in crypto.
Yep.
Let's say you have like a $5,000 portfolio and you saved up like $1,000 or something. So that way it's not like you can just throw it away.
See, this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing though, is that it's such a hard question. I know I'm just like looking too much into it, but like I don't my investments aren't to necessarily make me rich with just like one swing of the bat, right? Like that's not how I approach it. So I think if I only had 5,000 to invest, I would be more conservative with it. Because like $5,000 at a point is life changing to a lot of people, right? If you can save up $1,000, it's life changing. It gets you over like a lot of like little humps, like a tire that blows out in your car or whatever. Like I'd be ultra conservative with that, and then kind of the more money you get, I would be a little more speculative. So I don't know. So I would. My speculation increases the more money I have. My risk level increases the more money I have because the first part is really conservative.
You know what's crazy about that? And Sam, I know you're about to answer, but what's crazy about that is personally, the more that I've made, the less speculative I've gotten, which is weird. Like I get paranoid. I'm like, no, because back in the day, like say if I had only 1,000, I'd say F it. I'm going 1,000, and if I'm making 1,000 a month right now, if I make 1,000 off 100% play, I just made that money back in I made a month's worth of money from one trade. So I was speculative. I was like, this money could change my life. Now, in order to do that, like I'd have to put a lot of money into it, and I don't like taking risks like that, personally speaking. So it's crazy. Like I've gotten less. I've gotten real paranoid. Like I'm buying like indexes and stuff right now, which I never thought that I would do personally. So it's weird. Like I've gotten a lot less speculative. What about you, Sam? What you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people like indexes a lot, and I think there's a good case to be made for it. But I'm less likely to invest in indexes now that stable coins are paying so much. Like why? I mean, indexes are up like what 30-40% this year. So I'm thinking, why would I do that? Do I think it's really going to go up a lot more this year? I don't know. But I'd be more likely to throw it in stable coin. If I had to throw it in a crypto though that wasn't stable coin, I'd put it in ADA. If I had to throw in a stock that was kind of higher reward, I'd probably do Clean Spark, Bitcoin miner, and then if it had to be something maybe a little less risky, I'd do Tattooed Chef probably, because I think their revenue is going to increase a lot by next year.
Yeah. Quick question on what was the thing you said about Bitcoin mining?
Clean Spark.
Clean Spark, yeah.
So why wouldn't you just invest in Bitcoin?
Because if Bitcoin stays the same, Conor's back.
Hey, buddy.
I've given up. I think I've sorted my stream, but it's too late now.
Yeah, we got like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
So if Clean Spark, let's say Bitcoin stays around 40,000, right, or 35,000, I make no money except for the interest I get paid. But with Clean Spark, they're acquiring a lot more miners, and their revenue is going to increase a lot, even at where they're at now, because they mine like 2 Bitcoin a day right now. They're gonna have the miners already because they've already purchased them for 6 to 9 by the end of summer. Mm-hmm. So their net income is gonna go up a lot. Their revenue is gonna go up a lot, independent of what Bitcoin does. Assuming Bitcoin doesn't fall another 50% or something like that, it's less tied to Bitcoin, I suppose, than actual Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because the fundamentals of the business are getting stronger.
Well, I guess now that we have Conor in the building, Conor, if you had to invest $1,000, you only had 5,000 total of a portfolio, and you had 1,000. What do you say there? Where you live? Pounds.
And on doolies.
Yeah.
Camels.
And
big fellas.
Yen.
Marble lights to trade.
You could only invest 1,000. What crypto would it be and why?
Am I? Is that so? 20% of my current portfolio,
yes.
Or that's my whole net worth?
Yeah, 20% of your current portfolio, and you cannot look at it for 12 months.
Oh, Bitcoin.
Should have guessed.
Or if maybe can I do 2? Can I have a little bit of Ethereum there too?
Sure, Conor.
Yeah.
For your troubles today.
I mean, yeah. The only crypto. You were talking stocks as well, right? If we're talking crypto only, the only one that I am like, because there's just nothing to it, right? There's just nothing to Bitcoin. It's like there's nothing that can really, apart from quantum computing coming in and cracking blockchain, which destroys the entire thing.
The world.
Bitcoin's just so simple, right? It's like it's easy to it's easy to understand in comparison to the others. So it's just like, that's the one that I'm like, if crypto's a thing in 10 years or however long it was 10 years, right? We're not looking at it for 10 years or 1 year.
Just 1
year.
Yeah. So if nothing's gone wrong with crypto, I'm sure Bitcoin will still be around, right? Whereas the other ones, I'm like 90 5% sure they'll be around. My other long-term holds, right?
Okay.
So,
Do you hold ADA?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the third biggest in my portfolio, I think.
Okay, I thought so. Sweet.
Yeah, I took some profits after the first, on the first dip. I took profits like, because, I'm like 10, 20x on most coins, right? That I hold in my long-term portfolio. So I was like, it's time to like take a little bit. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I saw it was dipping and I was like, it's going to continue. I got out of a lot of them when Bitcoin was around where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
We went further down. I bought up some Ethereum recently, but I just thought for like my mind's sake, right? It's like, what would I be more disappointed in myself with if I took nothing and didn't manage to buy the dip, or if I just held, or if I held, you know what I mean? And it's like, that was what I'd be less disappointed in myself if I did that. But yeah, ADA's down now because it's not holding up so well against the others. So yeah, it's number 5, I think, in my portfolio.
Huh. Okay. I like it. I could have guessed with that one. Connor's the Bitcoin guy here. But
yeah.
All right,
that's just the one I'm set on, right?
Yeah. I understand. Like I guess I was just more considerate of like risk versus reward. I think ADA has a higher chance to 3x, 4x from here, but I think the risk is like it has a chance to 70% from here. So
yeah, the thing is I was just listening to what you guys were saying, right? It's it's the risk, right? Like if it's 20% of my portfolio, if it's 1% of my portfolio, then of course, or if it's actually my portfolio, like, I don't know which one of you said it, but the more money I have in, I'm way more risky. I'm way more risky.
That's crazy.
Like the more money I have in the market, the more risk I do. But just way more risky. Because I'm like, if it's $5,000, $1,000 is 20% of that portfolio. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and also if you only have $5,000 to put in, which is a significant amount of money, there's no arguing that. But if that's the amount of money you're putting in, that's because you only have, let's say, $20,000 as net worth or something, right? So it's like, that's a significant amount of money. So losing all of that money is going to hit you far harder than, if you have more money to invest. So I'm like, I'd rather just risk it now, while I'm, I can't really say young in front of you, but
yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about, you dinosaur.
Young-ish. While I've still got 2 more years.
Don't give yourself the ish. No, you're old.
I was like, if I had a kid at 16, could he be Tyler's age? And I was like, close, but no, not yet. So I'm still technically not that old, but you could technically almost be my son.
Right.
Isn't that insane?
You guys are like 1.5 times older than Tyler. A little bit more.
That's cool.
I would have had to have you at 14, which is not. I don't think that was possible. So
okay, so we got.
Well, on that note,
I think. Did I ask a question? Yeah, I asked a question about SafeMoon and Bezos. Steven, have you asked a question yet from your chat?
Oh, let's just everyone says that we're amazing. We're the best people they've ever heard or seen. I'm the handsomest out of everybody. No,
that's where I draw the line.
No one said any of those things. I literally just made up every single one of those things. So let's actually look for a real question here. What staking platform would everyone use?
I haven't been saying.
I'll answer because I've been away for a bit. So the thing is I like about staking now is we have the opportunity to have almost safe staking, right? We can almost, like, you can do yield farming where you can get massive returns. So it's the same as how much you're willing to risk. But I think, Stephen, you were saying earlier, it's like, it's nice that we could put a significant amount of money into, like a company that is almost like trustworthy in the space and get an almost guaranteed return for the time being, right? So what was the question? Platforms or coins?
Anything that kind of comes to your mind, but platform specifically was what?
Yeah, so I stake on crypto.com and BlockFi because they got different things, but both of those are, I would say, the very bottom end of the risk side of staking, right? You got high end you got high end where, you know, I've got a friend who like, he was in Titan, actually. He was in the Titan thing that crashed, but he was in the stable-ish coin side of things, so he managed to get out faster. But like, I think he was making it was 3,000% a year, so daily, like a couple of percent a day, compounding. So it's like you can do really, really well, but you have to look at that like it's day trading, right? You have to pay attention to exactly what's happening and be ready to pull your money out at any time. So it's not passive, right? It's still trading. Whereas on something like BlockFi or Crypto.com, you chuck it on there, you get awesome returns, far better than you get in the bank. And if you're me, for example, my opinion is those are two companies that I trust. So it's like, you know, sure they could get hacked in the same way like a bank could get robbed, but you know, the chances of that are quite low. Anyway, the chances of us actually because they're lending out our crypto anyway, right? So the chances of us actually losing our crypto if that happened is pretty low. So yeah, that's what I would do.
From what I've done, because I didn't do any staking. Like, I knew what staking was, I just never did it, so I never put much research into it. But I think Sam used BlockFi, right? I didn't make that up, did I, Sam?
Yeah, BlockFi and Voyager, what I use for interest rates. Yeah,
BlockFi is the one that, out of all the ones I've looked at so far, that's the one that's been the most appealing to me. But I'm not an active like staker or anything right now, yet at least. And so that's the only one that I've really looked at and be like, okay, yeah, I'll probably use that one, just for me personally.
Yeah, I just use BlockFi and Voyager. I'm really interested in Voyager's new loyalty program too. So if you hold 500 other tokens and then 5,000 and then like 20,000, you get different rewards. So they holding like $1,200 worth of their token will give you an extra 0.5% on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So and they already pay like 6% on one and like 5.25% on the other. So that's where I'm gonna put more on. But I have the majority of my Bitcoin and Ethereum on BlockFi.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Steven?
Steven, what about you?
Crypto.com. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Sweet.
Not sponsored by them yet, though. So if they want to throw a sponsorship my way.
I'm bummed that I missed this. I'm bummed.
It's okay.
I have to wait all week.
Next time.
I sit here in my room, just the guy sitting in his room alone all week. This is my only chance of socializing, and I missed it all. When you think it's cool to show up late to a party, right? And then you show up late, and everyone's like, "All right,
bye,
we're off."
And I'm actually, I'm not gonna be here next Friday.
Oh no,
that's all right. I'm not here to see
you. We'll get the four of us on one at some point.
Tell people where you're going to be.
One of so I'm a coach for MMA, and we've been having fights pretty much every weekend. I wasn't here last week because one of my best friends fought. He went fight, we won that fight, and then I was actually supposed to not be here this week because my girlfriend was supposed to fight, but her opponent got a little extra nervous, I think, and so she pulled out. So that fight didn't happen. But then next week, another one of my friends is fighting, so I got to drive there to coach him. Then we're driving about another 5 hours from there to the beach, so I'll be gone for a while. But yeah, it's been hard. Like balancing it's crazy.
Should we move this to another night?
Probably.
Maybe you can throw it to your chats and ask them.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, like a midweek catch up could be quite good, rather than like.
I'll be on the East Coast, so I'll be able to. It'll be like afternoon as opposed to freaking crack of dawn morning, like it is here in Los Angeles when y'all want to do these things. So I'm all for anything next week. Bring it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like a Wednesday or something work. I mean, any day works for me. I don't do anything other than this. I've got no friends.
Oh, guys, also, chat, before we do wrap this up, don't be surprised if towards the end of the year you see the four of us, well maybe us three, and then we'll probably just disinvite Conor, all together at some point towards maybe like September-ish. Conor will be around. He's just not going to be on the show. He'll just be sitting in the closet, you know. We'll put him in the closet.
He'll be holding the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he can make sure that
we got to think of where's the best area, right? Because I'm happy to like get a flight, but I'm on the east, right? Never east. Yeah.
Yeah. One of us can just bring like our Yeti microphone or whatever microphones we use, and we can just all be in front of one. and then we just bring a laptop. There you go.
I will
Or
control.
I can just bring loads of different audios and just
No.
ruin everything.
Yeah, no. I will control all of the technicals. I will be. Connor is the last guy to be in charge of that.
I literally have everything. I'm like all of the gear, no idea, right? I was like the advocate for the bare minimum for the longest time, and then like, right, I'm gonna add some like, we're gonna get this lens with the bokeh effect, and I'm gonna be able to do all of this stuff. I got the lights, and I can't. Nothing works. The only like my nothing. I can't do it. Look how red I look.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
definitely gonna get together and talk about crypto, and also we're gonna train. We're gonna train with Tyler, and he's gonna show us how to
Need it.
beast mode.
We gotta figure it out
Sam,
though.
you're
Yeah.
a personal trainer, or like you have personal training background too, right?
Yeah. But I'm not professional.
What we need.
I'm not a professional athlete though.
You know
Just
what I'm
a
thinking?
professional trainer.
I have a fight either.
Stephen, were you a professional athlete?
Was I a professional athlete? No. I did
Just join.
letter in SAT scores though, so basically I got a letter jacket. I'm basically an athlete.
Now, one thing that would be fun is that I have a fight as of now, September 25th, but maybe September 18th. And so what I'm thinking is we get the morons together for the fight. Hopefully I win. Like if I lose, like there's no podcast, nothing, leave me alone. I'm going home. I'm never talking to anyone again. But what could be a good time is like a fight weekend podcast or something like that. That'd be a cool little thing. Hopefully don't get knocked out.
I'll most likely only be in America for August, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Good old Conor.
just because I don't know what else to do, right? Like, what am I going to do for a month? I
It's
get
a
there on the
country.
1st of August. So.
It is a country, Conor. There's a lot to do.
Yeah, no, I know that's true. But I want to go live in Bali, innit?
Yeah, okay. That's understandable. But, well, guys.
Stephen, you're coming, yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna meet up with Connor and Bali. I'm gonna come see Tyler's fight. And Sam, I can kind of pass by the homestead up there.
Yeah, Michigan's right on the way. Michigan's super interesting. Yeah.
Sweet.
We can hang out in Detroit and revive it. We can just buy Detroit, honestly, if you want to, and just go
There
in
you
together. Detroit.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Make it
Yeah.
happen.
After watching Meet Kevin's videos and Graham Stephan's videos on that, I'm not so keen on it. Like when they were in the neighborhoods and houses were going on fire. But yeah, I had a terrible experience in Detroit a couple years ago, so I don't necessarily want to go back there anytime soon. But this side of the state's nice, over by Lake Michigan. So we
Yeah,
can
they
sit
got
here.
planes and stuff, just a whole bunch of grass.
Wait, but
Nothing-
everyone bought their ticket to FinCon, right?
Yeah.
I have not yet. But we will
that
make
on-
that happen.
September.
Yep.
What's the
Why
date?
can't it just not be difficult and be in August?
Yeah, man.
Oh man. I
But
don't know.
Tell your friend just to move his wedding. It's super simple. Just be like,
Yeah,
"Listen,
it's
I
pretty
got
rude."
business."
Yeah, it's pretty rude.
That is a long flight from Dubai to friggin' New York. That has to be a really long flight.
Yeah, it's ages.
But well,
My
guys.
longest one was. Yeah. Oh, sorry. We're just like talking like we're not on live stream anymore.
No, it's all good. This is what our normal conversations sound like. But
I'm not on live stream, so
well, I think
thankfully.
that is
Couldn't
probably
do it if he tried.
yes. We're gonna get Connor next time. We'll join a Zoom call like 6 hours before the stream starts, and by the time it starts, we will more than
I
likely
thought I had it.
we will more
I
than
was
likely
like-
have Connor set up. But that
I
is
had
gonna
Thought I had it.
that's probably gonna go ahead and wrap it up today. I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna go do some timestamps just to kind of get everything. But we talked about a lot today. We talked about SafeMoon. We kind of talked about the Jeff Bezos situation. We talked about Kim Kardashian and Mark Cuban kind of making things a little weird. We jumped through what we look for in cryptos, how we approach sponsorships. We talked about a lot. So definitely, if you did just tune in, definitely go back, check it out. Let us know what you think. And if you did enjoy it, you can let us know, of course, by liking all of our videos except for Connor's, of course. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. We'll be live next week, but since I will be out of town, we're gonna probably push it to a different day. So stay tuned, check our community tabs, as it should be there sometime soon. And yeah, that's gonna be about it for the day, guys. I hope y'all did enjoy.
That was a great
Yep.
wrap.
Sweet.
Great wrap, Tyler.
Yeah.
Peace out, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. What's up, everyone? How's it going? know some people did dog off, but I figured I might jump in here, answer a few questions. I know the chat was pretty active today, so maybe we'll go ahead and talk a little bit. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys did enjoy it. If there was anything else that you did want to ask, if there was anything that you guys wanted me to quickly answer, I'll answer questions for the next like 5 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this thing on up. Let's see. Tyler, let's have you fight here in Bali. I'd love it. I'd love to fight in Bali. Go train on the beach? Heck yeah, dude. Tyler, what about kickboxing? Would you take that as well? So I did kickboxing. I actually was a kickboxer. I had 16 total matches, 16 total kickboxing fights. I lost one. Went 15-1. I did a pretty good job, but you know, I got in my one loss. It was actually my my third one. I fought a guy named Ramel Canales out in Houston. I got smacked. But yeah. Let's see if there's any other questions you guys want me to answer. Let's see. What would happen to crypto if rising tensions in the Middle East and Iran escalate into war in the next couple of years? I don't necessarily think that would have a major impact on crypto, as I think that it is a bit separate from the US dollar. I think that we do see dollar, just overall total currency tend to struggle during wars, but I think that it would be a little bit separated from crypto. I don't think that it would have a major impact. Are you better at stand-up boxing or wrestling? Definitely my stand-up. My stand-up is my bread and butter for sure. But I have been trying to even it out a little bit. I've been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of wrestling, just trying to close that gap, because my striking was exponentially better than my grappling at one point. But I've won almost all of my fights on the ground at this point. I punch them up, pop, 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 bam, bang, bang, a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of punch action. Then I get taken down, and then I win the fight off my back. That's typically what'll happen. Let's see. Have you done a sponsored video by Project Quantum, or are you planning to do one on them? Yes, they're scheduled for next Friday, a week from today. You prefer stand-up or grappling? I like stand-up more, but I've definitely fallen in love with grappling over the last couple months/years. Yeah, well, guys, that is probably going to be about it. If you are on my Patreon, I'm going to be restarting. I'm going to be going live for Patreon members. We're going to do some technical analysis. The charts are looking real interesting. So we are actually going to be doing some technical analysis in the Patreon. As you guys do know, we do technical analysis every single day. So if you are in the Patreon, definitely tune in. I'll be live dropping the link in the next 20 minutes here. If you're not in Patreon, go down to this little thing and read it. Hold on, we're going to read this together. Patreon link down. Come on, baby. Speed it up. Below. Boom. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. If you would like to, if you'd like to join the Patreon, definitely check it out. Do a whole bunch of stuff to get early access to videos, technical analysis, research reports, a whole bunch. So definitely go down and check it out. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up. I hope you guys did enjoy the stream today. It was a fantastic stream. We had some great talks. We talked about a lot of good things. I appreciate y'all for joining in, and we are going to be on to the next stream. Peace out, people.